Most dads want to work out, be present with their kids, and still crush it at work. But wanting isn't enough. The difference between progress and falling off every few weeks comes down to one thing: non-negotiables. The standards you hold even when life gets chaotic. Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about creating non-negotiables in fitness and family. Now, before I get into today's episode, I like to go over anything in my life that I think that you may find interesting, beneficial, stories of fitness, nutrition, anything that may be helpful in your life. So diving right into today's episode, I would say Thursdays at the gym are a grind. And there's going to be days when you're working out, when you're running, that they just grind you down. On Thursdays is when I get up the earliest during the week. So for me, that's 4:30. And I start my day off with deadlifts. Now, when I start off with deadlifts in the morning, it's definitely mentally taxing knowing I'm getting up early. I'm going to the gym. I'm starting off with deadlifts right now. I'm typically doing about 4 sets of 3 to 5 reps of each set. So it's definitely taxing knowing that I have, at the end of that workout, I'm going to do a 2-mile treadmill run. So I'm typically getting into the gym probably about 5:10 or so. And I'm leaving about 7 a.m. So I know I'm going to be there for about 2 hours, just grinding, just pushing myself. I know I'm going to be doing military press. I'm going to be doing weighted dips and all the different exercises in between, and know that it's just going to be a grind. It's my 4th workout of the week. I will have worked out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I will have ran on an average week about 5 miles on Wednesday and Monday, 8 miles on Tuesday. And then I know as well that on Thursdays that getting through this grind of workout, I have to come home. I have to run a 5-mile loop around my house, which is definitely not easy. It's probably the hardest hill I run during the week on my Thursdays run. And then I know that I'm on call with our local volunteer ambulance service on Thursday night, and you never know what's going to be happening with that. This past Thursday, had a call come in with that at about 10 p.m. for a car accident. Not going to go into the details to respect the patient's privacy, but the car accident came in. It was fairly cold. That's definitely going to throw you off when you're pretty exhausted, but you know you're going out there to help people. And I think it was about 2 or 3 degrees outside. I had already fallen asleep for the night, had gotten up, had to take this individual rather quickly to the hospital. And then you come back. It's about, I think I got back about 12:30 a.m. Definitely a little bit more difficult to just fall asleep right away, but get up on Friday, and I do an at-home workout on Friday, depending on how much sleep I get, where I'm still going to be getting a workout in, and then getting up and going out and doing 5 miles of running on that Friday to finish off the week. And that brings me into that next point of, on Friday, having to run when it was 7 degrees, and I haven't ran in weather that cold this year, and just had to bundle up. And it was just a grind. The sleep wasn't great. Probably got about 4 hours of sleep, but just going out there and getting the run in. And then today, on Monday, as I'm recording this episode, it was 2 degrees out. When I started my run, I think it was 4 degrees when I finished my run. So definitely still pretty cold this time of year, but that doesn't mean I'm going to make excuses. I'm going to be making sure that I still get my runs in. When it comes to running in the cold, the way that I like to dress, and if you're new to running or someone that's looking for some advice to what to wear in the winter, let's start in the bottom. I typically will wear leggings, like Under Armour Cold Gear, and then I have a pair of Gore-Tex pants that I wear. And then up top, I'm going to be wearing an Under Armour Cold Gear, like thermal long sleeve. I'm not sure exactly like what you would call it, but thermal long sleeve. And then I wear a Gore-Tex jacket. So the Gore-Tex suit is highly beneficial. It's crazy wearing the Gore-Tex suit that if it's, say anything below 20 degrees, I'll typically wear a long sleeve under it. But about 20 to 30 degrees outside, I'll just wear a t-shirt and a jacket, and I'll be perfectly fine. And then when it comes to what I'm going to be wearing. So I'm typically wearing a baklava, so that covers my neck, my ears. I'll wear a hat on top of that. And the last couple of days, it's been actually pretty sunny. I've been running, so I'll definitely wear sunglasses. And then wear chapstick, and then I'll put Vaseline. I just use Aquaphor. I'll put that on my nose. I'll put that on my cheeks. Make sure that's all taken care of. Just, how cold it is, any exposed skin. Make sure that's taken care of. And then I wear a pair of North Face. I don't even know if they're running gloves, but a pair of North Face warm winter gloves that are pretty durable. And I go outside, and it might take, say, a minute or two. It can be pretty cold, but eventually, you start to warm up after about a mile or so. And even when it was 2 degrees today, probably about 2.5 miles into my run, I was feeling pretty hot and was able to finish off the run. So just make sure that you're protecting yourself this time of year when you're going out there and running. It's definitely possible. You just have to make sure that you're wearing the right layers. But again, just because it's cold doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to be going out there and running, which again takes me into today's episode, which is creating non-negotiables in fitness and family. I want you to have that identity shift, which is this is who I am versus this is what I hope to do. I'm not hoping that I can do a run today. I'm not hoping that I'm going to get my lifts in today. I'm getting my lifts in. I'm getting my runs in because this is who I am. I'm designing my life around my priorities, not what's convenient. It's not convenient getting up in the morning and going to the gym. It's not convenient going out there and taking like 10 to 15 minutes to put all my gear on to go out and do a run when it's 2 degrees and the wind's blowing in your face. Like, that's not convenient. But it's a priority I have in my life, is to make sure that I'm getting these runs in, to make sure that I'm getting these lifts in. So it's just designing my life around my priorities, not what's easy, what's not convenient. If everything was convenient, I want to go to the gym, want to work out, want to go for runs, would eat whatever I wanted. But that's not who I am, and that's not who I hope you are either. Now, when it comes to your fitness non-negotiable, what are your minimum non-negotiables? Is it a 30-minute workout? Is it every day? Is it 10K steps a day? Is it a hydration target? For me, my non-negotiables are 5 workouts a week, 30 miles running. I don't care how I get to those 30 miles. I'm getting to those 30 miles. I could do 2 miles today, 10 miles tomorrow. I have it pretty sorted out at this point, but I make sure that I get it done within that range. Now, what is time that you truly control? Is it your morning? Is it your evening? For me, it's my morning before our 2.5-year-old daughter wakes up. So she gets up about 7 a.m., which is why I typically get up at 4:50, get to the gym about 5:30, and then leave about 6:45 so I can get home in time to get her up and out of bed for the day. Now, what do you do when your schedule explodes? For me, that could be having a doctor's appointment. So my wife and I, typically on Tuesday mornings, I'll go off and I'll do an 8-mile run right now. And on Tuesday, we're going to see the doctor. So my wife's pregnant with our second child, due at the end of March. But the appointment's early in the morning, so I'm not going to have as much time as I normally would. So what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to move my workout, and maybe I'll pick up a few extra treadmill miles this week, and I'll do a little bit longer run later in the week. Now, I typically prefer earlier in the week before the life gets chaotic and the week gets chaotic, but sometimes that's just not possible. So maybe I tweak my workout a little bit. I tweak my running when I'm going to be running a little bit to make sure that I can get my runs and my lifts in. And again, those are non-negotiables even when my schedule gets a little chaotic. Track your consistency, not your performance. And what I mean by that is some days I go out there, I just don't have it, but I'm still going to put in the effort to the best of my abilities. Right now, running, my times have increased probably about 30 seconds a mile. It's just hard to run when it's 2 degrees in, when your muscles are tight, when you're going out there and pushing yourself, and it's I wouldn't say hard to breathe, but the air is a little bit thicker, a little bit denser, and it just makes it a little bit tougher. So the consistency is getting those 5 workouts in, getting those 5 runs in, and putting the best effort that I can in every single time. Now, just besides your fitness non-negotiables that you have, what are your family non-negotiables? So for me, number 1, being home for bedtime. I always want to make sure that I'm home to put my daughter to bed, and that's always been a non-negotiable for me. On the occasion on Thursday that I'm out on a call, then I'm out on a call. But besides that, I am home 28 out of, say, 27 out of 31 nights a week, with typically being, 29 out of 30, 30 out of 31, and that's just a non-negotiable for me. It's having a real conversation with my wife every day. It's putting our phones down. It's putting our screens down. It's, turning off the TV and just having a real conversation with her. What's going on? How's your day going? Anything I can do to help you? It's not just sitting there when my daughter's home and playing on my phone. That's the easy thing to do. It's you work a full day. It's tiring. It's exhausting. You work out and you sometimes want to say, hey, I want to relax. But to me, like, that's time I could be missing out with my daughter. So she is my priority when I'm done with work, not checking what's on social media or just scrolling through Instagram. At the end of the day, you have to have systems over motivation. So what are you going to automate? For me, it's my gym bag being packed. It's my workout routine. I know exactly what I'm going to do on a typical week. I know exactly where I'm going to be run. I know what meals I'm going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single week. I just built up this routine over time. I have every night I go and I pick my clothes out. I put my clothes in the bathroom so I can get changed without waking up my wife. So that way I can get downstairs. I can have my same yogurt I have and go to the gym. I wake up very consistently at the same time. I do basically a split when I'm working out right now. So I'll do just different exercises and switch it up on my workout, but I have that all written down so I know exactly when I go into the gym, what I'm going to be doing. I know my Monday running route. I know my Tuesday, my Wednesday, my Thursday, my Friday. And I just make it as easy as possible because I don't want to think about, okay, what do I need to wear as soon as I get up in the morning, or what am I going to be eating today, or where am I going to be running today? I just want to have that all built up for me so that way I don't have to think about it. Let's say you happen to miss a day. It happens occasionally. Life happens. You miss a day. Never skip twice. Something comes up at the gym. Say, okay, hey, just something comes up. I can't make it today. Okay, understandable. Life gets in the way. Sometimes it's just, no matter what you do, it's going to happen. Don't miss a day twice in a row. Because now all of a sudden, that third day, it's going to be hard. It's going to be like, oh, okay. I didn't go the last 2 days. It'll be okay if I miss the third day. And then next thing you know, that's going to unravel. You're going to stop running. You're going to stop working out. You're going to stop eating healthy. It's okay if you miss a day here and there. But don't just make it a habit of it. Remove the guilt that you have by returning to your standard. I find this more so than ever than when I'm sick because it's killing me when I'm sick. I have to miss a few days at the gym or miss a few days of running. And when I'm sick, I have to build back to that standard. And it's hard when I'm running. When you take a week off running when you have the flu or a really bad sinus infection, to go back out there and get back to running, 30 miles a week, it can be a little bit difficult. So I have to build back up to it, but I want to get back to that standard. So maybe instead of running 5 miles, I run 3 miles. And then by the end of the week, I'm running 5 miles again. And I'm slowly building up to it so that way I can get back to the standard that I have set for myself. And I'm teaching my daughter resilience and by modeling it. So that way she can see, like, oh, even though it's absolutely terrible out, my dad still went and did it, even though it was hard. He still got up every morning and went to the gym. He still ate foods that were going to improve his body, fruits, vegetables, fats, proteins, whatever that may be. And just having my daughter model it and by setting the example for her. Every day I go to the gym and every day I get my run in. That's just a small win. And I'm continuing to build that identity. I'm continuing to build the non-negotiable where at this point, if I ate unhealthy, if I didn't go to the gym, if I didn't run, my whole day would feel off. Because fitness and fatherhood are the same journey where you have to show up even when it's hard. There's times where being a father, you're just thrust into it and it's very new and you don't have all the answers. You're working out and something's just not clicking, or you're running and you're getting irritated, it's just not working. You continue to show up every single day and continue to fight that mental battle. Now, as we end today's episode, what are your top 2 non-negotiables this week that you plan on following? Whether that's running, whether that's lifting, whether that's getting your protein intake, whether that's getting your steps, whatever that may be, write down your 2 non-negotiables and commit to them this week. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on creating non-negotiables in fitness and family, and I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss 2 years of balancing fatherhood and fitness.